What's up, guys? If you're anything like me, you could fish all day long, every day of the week, and you'd never get tired of it. It's a form of recreation I'm lucky enough to share with so many others. In fact, about 49 million people find themselves, it's here in the U.S., find themselves fishing each year. Some are periodic pond fishermen and women, while others are avid participants who are lucky enough to be able to fish 3 and 4 times a week. Now, it's no secret that the best fishing is done from a boat, but who has that kind of money or that kind of space? Not me, being a college kid, that's for sure. I loved fishing, I love the water, but I've always felt hindered by my inability to fish from a boat. Then something happened that would forever change the way I fished, and I want to tell you guys about it. During the spring break of 2017, my brother-in-law, who is living in New Orleans with my sister, invited me to come down to New Orleans and kayak fish for reds in the salt flats. And that was really cool to me, something I'd never gotten to do, and a type of fish I've never had the opportunity to catch. Um, so I went with him, and I had the time of my life. Fishing from a kayak was the coolest thing I'd ever done. So I come home, and that summer I saved up some money, and I was able to buy myself my own kayak. Um, and there's a few reasons that that fishing from a kayak was so appealing to me. First is the ease of use, um, the price point, and just the overall simplicity. It's a purely unmatchable as far as like forms of fishing and styles of being able to fish. So today I want to tell you guys a little bit about that, and maybe share my experience with you, and maybe lead you guys to fish in a form or a way that you've never thought of before. Um, so I'm gonna get on the water. I'm gonna do some fishing, and I'll see you guys out there. Oh, there we go. Ain't much. We'll take him. He's a fish. Let's get on some more. So, in order for me to tell you guys why I think you should get into kayaks, and why I think you should get into kayak fishing particularly, let me first tell you guys a little bit about kayaks, how they came to um, really have an effect on the fishing industry, and how that took off and where it started. So, up until the 1990s, all you really had were sit-in kayaks, which are, in my opinion, super dangerous. If you flip one, you have to swim it to the shore to get back in it. They'll also sink because the water can go straight inside of them, and so they're just real dangerous, especially if you're fishing alone. All right, so that's pretty much all you had until the 1990s. Well, in 1998, a company called Cobra was making a kayak that was going to be marketed towards scuba divers. Actually, it was a design where it was called a sit-on, and so a design where the hull is all open. You sit on top of it with your feet out in front of you rather than sitting down in it. And it had a storage well in the back where you could put, if you're a fisherman, you put typically a milk crate with all your tackle stuff in there. But it was a little storage well for their tanks, for their, all that other scuba goggles, all the other little stuff that scuba divers use. But not long after making it, they realized that it was really taking off for fishermen. The fishermen were using it. It was because of the open hull design, it was easy for them to be able to take all their tackle out, all their rods and all their reels and all that stuff. And so they named it the Fish and Dive, and they quickly started marketing it towards the fishing industry. So they really kind of paved the way for modern fishing kayaks. Then later on, you had companies like Native, Hobie's a big one, Perception, that's what I'm in right now, Pelican, a few other brands like that they took that design, that idea, and they molded it into even more so what we have today. They started adding like stadium style seats, which put you up high where you can sight fish, if you're depending on the type of fishing you're doing and where you're fishing. Put you up high so you can see down in the water better. They added rails where you can add rod holders, cup holders. There's certain types of anchor systems that use those rails. They added wells, like in-store, like in-hole wells where you can store hoodies. You can store anything that you don't necessarily need immediately, but you want to take with you just in case you do need it. Air horns, safety stuff, things like that. They started adding places where you could put fish finders. They started adding vertical rod holders, which are rod holders in the back of your rods, go straight down in and point up. All kinds of stuff to really start marketing towards those fishermen. So the reason that these kayaks really took off was the versatility of all the things, like the rails that you could do, all the different things you could add and take away. The affordability, that was the big one. The affordability, these things were cheap. They could get in them for next to nothing. They could customize them for just a little bit more than they were already spending. And the ease of use, you can take them anywhere. You can do just about anything you want with them. And so those are the three things I'm going to talk about next. So the number one reason that kayak fishing has taken off the way it has, is affordability, 100% without a doubt. So the cheapest bass boat that I know of, brand new, is a Bass Tracker Classic. It's a 16.5-foot boat with a 50-horse Mercury, a Minn Kota trolling motor, a Lowrance fish finder, and a live well, and a trailer. It's super basic, but it gets that fisherman out on the water if they can afford a boat at all, and it allows them to get that experience from fishing from a boat. But coming in at $13,000, they're still not cheap. And I don't know about you, but I can't afford $13,000, especially being a college student. But luckily, the most expensive kayak that I know of on the market isn't even half that. A Hobie Pro Angler 14-foot, which is the nicest one they have. There's actually YouTube videos of people doing handstands on them. They're super stable. They have a pedal drive, which is, obviously you don't have to paddle at all. You can just put your feet, you make a motion like that with your feet, and it flips flippers underneath the boat. And then they'll pull up when you're in shallow water, things like that. And so it's a very top of the line kayak. And the Hobie Pro Angler 14-foot comes in at, I believe, $4,200. So you're talking about the absolute nicest kayak that I know of, and it's not even half as much as that cheapest bass boat. So the money that you can save by choosing a kayak over a boat is incredible, and that's why it's so attractive. You can get into kayak fishing for as little as Pelican makes I believe it's a Pelican Icon, and you can buy them at Academy for right around like $250, and around Christmas time even cheaper. Incredibly cheap to get into, and they're real basic, but they are a sit-on, and then they do have rod holders, so it's a very good like starter kayak if you want to know if you're even interested in really getting into that and spending a little bit of money, which you can later upgrade to something a little bit nicer. But at $250 for a Pelican kayak at Academy, doesn't get much better than that. And so because of that, again, kayaks are the easiest, cheapest way to get out on the water and get that experience of fishing on water. So next we'll talk about versatility. Versatility is the second biggest reason that kayaks have really exploded in the fishing industry. Think about it this way. The bass boat is the all-wheel drive sedan. It's roomy, it's reasonably fast. You can take it anywhere where there's a good path. It's comfortable, and you've got plenty of room for anything you need to take with you. Now, on the other hand, the kayak is the ATV of the fishing world. You might lack a little bit on space. You might not have the perfect amount for everything. It might not be the most stylish way to get there, but you can take it anywhere you need to take it. It is the most versatile form of fishing. 6 inches of water, no big deal. Ain't nothing for the kayak. The kayak will glide right through 6 inches of water. And sometimes that's what you need to do. Maybe you've got an 8-inch or a 12-inch deep pinch where two little pieces of land are coming together, and you need to go over that pinch, over that little shallow spot, to get into a deeper hole back there where the fish are staging up, hanging out, and whatever. The boat ain't gonna make it back there. You gotta hope you can cast that far. The kayak, no big deal. That's nothing for the kayak. You got thick weeds and grass or a real rocky area, again, forget about it. No big deal for the kayak. If you can paddle over it, a kayak will float over it almost every single time. And so it'll get you places where that boat won't get you. You can take it just about anywhere where there's water. A kayak will float. And so it's easily, 10 times more versatile than the boat. It will allow you to get to fish that a lake may not necessarily allow you to get to. Also, in versatility, the ease of customization is right up there with any bass boat, if not more. Between all the rails and all the open spot for bolt-ons and add-ons and everything, the opportunities are endless. You can really customize a kayak to fit your exact needs, and have absolutely just about anything you want on a kayak you can put on a kayak. So they are very, very versatile, and that's my second reason why kayak fishing, why you should get into kayak fishing, and why it's so close to my heart, and why I put it so high up on a pedestal in my life. I just love it. It's so easy to make it exactly what you want to make it, to get the exact experience that you want to get. The third and final reason that I believe kayak fishing can be such a great thing, and then why I want so many people to get involved and get to make the experiences that I've been able to experience, is simplicity. With a bass boat, there's so much to them. They're definitely worth it. Don't get me wrong. If you can afford a bass boats are great. But there's just so much that comes with them. You've got boat maintenance, you've got loading and unloading at the ramp, and I don't know about where you guys have the opportunity to fish, but some of the lakes around here, it's rough using the boat ramp. Because if if you're not just super good at it and super quick, you've got a whole line of people that are griping at you. It's not a very good experience typically. Not to mention you've got cleaning it. You've got to deal with the gas and oil if it's a two-stroke. You've got all these things for that. So for that reason, simplicity of the kayak is the third reason. That I think it's really taken off in the fishing industry and it's become so popular. Kayaks can literally be as simple as you want them. You can take a single tackle box, a single rod and reel, go buy that $250 Pelican from Academy, and put it in the water, and you're fishing. And of course, your fishing license, can't forget that. And you're fishing. That's all you need. If you've got those three things, that is all you need. With that said, the possibilities are endless. As I said a few minutes ago, the possibilities are endless. You've got the rails, you've got rod holders, you've got you can put different types of storage compartments in your in-hole storage. You've got fancy tackle bags, fancy tackle boxes, fancy types of rod holders. You've got fancy anchor systems, anchor trolleys. You've got fancy paddles. You can add in-hole storage. You've got fish finders, ways of mounting transducers. So much. It is literally endless. But despite all of that, and put all that to the side, kayaks can literally be so simple. And I think that's why so many people, another reason why I think so many people cling to those kayaks, and why I want to push kayaks onto other people and try to get them to get out on the water and give them a try, because they really are so simple. It's not to mention, when you get ready to fish, you have to do some prep. You've got to plan ahead of time to take a boat. It takes me, if I'm sitting on my couch, 15 minutes and I'm headed to the lake. That's loaded up, that's everything, all my tackle stuff in my truck, all of it, 15 minutes. You can't beat it. The simplicity of fishing in a kayak is just unmatchable. With options such as these, almost anybody can get out on the water. If you're still watching this video, then I'm sure that you love fishing just as much as I do, or at least you will shortly if you get started. And anybody that has that type of love for absolutely anything, they should have the access and the resources they need to take it to the next level. With that said, you guys, I want you to go out there, check out some of these kayaks that I've mentioned, the Pelicans, the Hobies, the Natives, the Perceptions, all of them. Check them out, see what best suits you, and you might just find yourself out on the water before you know it. I want you guys to go out and really get a feel for what you might like. I know OKC Kayak in Oklahoma City, they will let you actually come and take a kayak out to the water to really get a hands-on experience. See what best suits you and see what you really like. I'm sure there's kayak places all over the U.S. that will give you that option and let you rent kayaks, or maybe even, I think OKC Kayak even does it for free. You're allowed to go try out those kayaks, and so get out there, find something you like. Please, guys, I'd love for you to try it. I promise you're not going to be disappointed. It is bar none. I absolutely love it. But just remember, guys, regardless of where you fish, how you fish, and when you fish, be safe, know the rules, make sure you're legal and you got your license. Life vest every second you're on the water, and most importantly, guys, go have fun.